Okay, welcome back to my art video. I believe I'm recording part 2 here. So now, here's what I want to do. I want to make an animation of this. I don't want to just be able to rotate it during this video that I'm recording, which is cool, of course, but I want to actually create an animation. So there's more than one way of going about this. So first of all, let me just show you like I did in the last video. I'm just going to kind of show you what this looks like. I'm going to rotate this, and I'm rotating it, and you see where the image boundary is, but you also see where the big rectangle is outside that, showing the actual size of what this was before it was rotated, which is actually a really cool thing when you think about it. This is just amazing. This is so beautiful. I love this. Okay, so enough about that though. I'm going to revert that to the state it was in before I started recording this video. That's a good way to go about it. So in order to make an animation, we need to make sure a few things are in order. Okay, first of all, let's check this rotation snaps every 1 degree. So we know that there are 90 degrees in the angles of a square. So there's going to be 90 frames of this animation. That's what's going to happen. So I don't know if this will turn out right or not. So I'm going to have to open up the export thing here, and I'm going to have to export an image file for every frame that I want. So let's make short for animation, rot short for rotating checkerboard. Notice I don't abbreviate checkerboard. I could have just called it check, but I did rot checkerboard, which is not proper English, but I'm just being funny here. Okay, I like to shorten things, as I do in my programming as well. And it's too bad I don't have the programming skills to actually do what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do here is a crazy idea. I'm doing traditional animation, a single frame at a time. This is tough. So here is I use 8 zeros starting out. I could use any number. I technically only need to use 2 digits for this because there's going to be 90 frames. But traditionally I always use 8 digits for my frame numbers. So I'm going to stick with tradition here. So here we have, okay, drawing.svg, we have it. So I'm going to export that. Okay, yes, so I have just exported that. And this is where it gets very interesting, because now I rotated it 1 degree, and then I changed the frame number to 1. Isn't that cool? Wait, let's see here. Oh, what in the world? Oh, what is going on here? I'm not sure if I know what I'm doing here. I think I'm accidentally changing the view. Okay, yeah, let's just, but okay, so I have rotated it once more. I'm trying to rotate it a single frame each time and then save it. Then I have rotated again. Let's save this as frame number 3. Enter. Then, yep, I did that. So then I have to select this, change it to frame 4. See, this takes a lot of work because I wish there was a way. There might be a way, but I don't know what it is. Oops, I accidentally moved it. See, yeah, this is crazy. So So now I'm going to rotate this again. It's frame 6. So I just have to basically do this, and I have to click this thing over here every time I want to go to the next frame, which is kind of a pain, but it's just the way I got to do it. So let's see. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm already up to frame 8. Oh, what a process, huh? Let's just be glad I don't have to do like 16,000 frames like some of my animations turned out to be. Let me make sure I'm doing good so far. I have, yep, I have these frames so far. So far everything's looking good. So now let's go back to here. Let's rotate it. Frame 11. Let's rotate it again. That's frame 12. Rotate it again. That's frame 13. Rotate it again. That's frame 14. Rotate it again. That's frame 15. Again. That's 16. Again. Yeah. That is 17. Again. That's 18. Again. That's 19. Again. Here's frame 20. Okay, now it's 21. Now it's 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. Halfway done. There should be 90. Okay, 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. 53. I hope I'm doing it right. I hope I didn't accidentally save any frames, without actually rotating it. That's the thing, is one little error will screw up my whole animation. So the pressure's on. Okay. 60. So we're 2/3 of the way. If I've been doing this correctly, that is. Otherwise, I may have to redo it over. And I don't want to do that. But anyway, by this point, people get the idea of what it is that I'm trying to do. It's pretty obvious. I'm doing frame by frame animation. Which, as slow as this process is, I gotta admit, it's still faster than the way that cartoons were originally made with, you know, pencil and paper. People actually drawing every single frame with a pen or pencil. Actually, these days things have progressed because they actually use computer software in making like these modern cartoons and Disney movies, you know. There's no way they'd be able to do it if they were still doing it the pen and paper way, you know, the old traditional way, because that just takes forever. But in case you're wondering why movies are so expensive to make, well, that's because your life will be sucked away if you're an animator, because even with the use of computer software, the process of making a movie, you know, even if it's a cartoon, you know, well, actually, cartoons take longer to make than, you know, just ones with cameras and live people, just because if you're just taking different shots with different cameras of different scenes of real people, actors, that takes, you know, less time, because it's all done by acting and recording it. But when it comes to let's see here. But when it comes to cartoons, you know, there's the animation on top of all of the voice acting and decisions by management about what's going to be in the movie, what isn't, you know, disagreements over the plot, disagreements on the voice actors, what music should be included when, you know. I'm not, you know, I'm not like an official animator by any means. You know, this is the best I can do, but I've seen enough behind the scenes footage, you know, of popular movies to know that a lot of work goes into making movies, you know. And that's why they really don't want to make a movie unless they can make enough money off of that movie to pay all the staff that, you know, had to work on it. Well, of course, they have to pay them by the hour while they're doing it, but then something doesn't seem right here, because I'm at frame 90, but it still does not at its original position. Oh, I must have missed something. So there was only supposed to be 90, but I'm just going to have to proceed and continue the frame numbers until it goes back. Okay, now it looks right. I must have missed a step somewhere in there, because you see now it actually looks right. The squares look like they're back in their original position, but they're not supposed to be 92 frames. So what went wrong here? See, clearly something went wrong. So it's hard to know exactly at which point I went wrong, but I'm going to close Inkscape now, and I'm going to look at the frames, because I know I messed up somewhere. There should not have been more than 90 frames. So clearly I messed something up. And notice how they're different sizes? That's because based on the way the image looked at the current time, it compressed differently by PNG compression. So yeah, see, I can step, yeah, see the last frame and the first frame are identical. So clearly I just had a misstep somewhere. Oh, this looks cool. See, I can step through it frame by frame with imagemagick. See, I can go backwards. Yeah, so this is how I first looked through my animations frame by frame to make sure they're done right. So that's something I do. And the reason I use Image Glass instead of the Windows Photo Viewer and stuff like that is that it lets me do this, you know, one frame at a time. So let's see here. If I find any two frames that are looking identical, then that means I messed something up. Because usually there's a visible difference between each individual frame. So I know I messed up somewhere, but I don't. Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it. Yeah, you see that? Frame 77 and 78 are identical. So I know that I'm going to need to delete a few frames here. Oh, and these two are identical there. So yeah, I did make a few mistakes. So there are a few frames that need to be deleted. So the thing though is I can't really rename all of the, like, they'll no longer be in ascending order is the unfortunate thing, because I can't rename. There's no easy way for me to take one frame out and then rename them all to be the correct names. However, I think that won't really matter. So here's what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have to make a zip file. So here is the original, yeah. Okay. There's the original. So this zip has 92 frames. Okay. But then I'm going to have to delete 2 frames. I need to find those 2 frames and delete them, because as long as they're in ascending order. Now the reason they have to be lined up like this is that, and they have to have heading zeros, is because the program that I use in order to turn this into an animation will require them to be in an alphanumerical order. So you see, that's the thing, is they're not done by date or type or size or anything like that. In fact, if we do this by size, this will turn out to be very weird looking. Yeah, see how that is when they're sorted by size in the folder? Yeah, that doesn't look right at all, does it? So they have to be sorted by their name. So now I remember that it was somewhere in the 70s where the identical frame was. So let's just start at 71 here, okay? So let's see here. Oh yeah, frame 77 and 78 were the same. So because frames 77 and 78 are the same, let's delete frame 78. So now it looks right. So then somewhere, oh yep, frame 87 and 88. Isn't that weird that first it's 77 and 88 are the same, and then it's 87 and 88 are the same? So let's delete frame 88. Still very weird though, because it's not quite what I expected, because there's still 91 files. So, and the first and last file, there should still be only 90 files in total. So something is still not quite right. There might be another case where the 2 frames are identical that I did not detect when cycling through it the first time. So let me see if I can identify it, because they're just based on the way my experience with doing square-based animations like this, there should not be a case where there is more than, yeah, that's just very weird. Oh, I just realized something. Of course, the last frame and the first frame are the same, but we don't need to have 2 identical frames being the first and last. So what we need to do is remove frame 92. So now we have only 90 files. So now that I have only 90 files, I'm going to make a new compressed zip folder here, and it's going to be 90 frames, wrought checkerboard. Okay, so that's actually really cool because when you think about it, like the size of all the files in this folder are a little over 7 megabytes, but then this is 6.24 megabytes. So that's not bad for this type of size of thing. So now here's the fun part. I need to make this into an animation. So I'll show you how I make my animations. So first, I need to get this path, and I open my command prompt, and I'm going to change directory to that folder. I don't know if you, whoa, isn't that cool? I can actually see the names of all of these files in this folder, which is actually really kind of impressive. It's a small font I'm using, but you can see all the files are there. So now, I don't remember off the top of my head the exact command. However, I do have many files for that. So on my desktop, I have my, let's see here. Where in the world is it? Oh, my desktop looks weird in this format. Yes, MSys2. So I go to this folder because when I'm doing my programming, I have all my programming files here. My make file is the file that has the command. So I have several different commands in my make file. And there is a very specific one for making a GIF animation, because I want to make a GIF animation. Now you'll notice something here. This is where it gets tricky. Yes, this is the command, but instead of it being in a folder named O, because this is in a folder named O, and it's bitmap files was the way, because my program, when I write my programs, they output Windows bitmap files. But in this particular case, here's the way it's going to go. So I go back to, I'm going to go to this particular folder. I'm going to put this in the same place as the frames. So I'm going to call this command.txt, because this is going to be the command that I'm going to use. So it's going to be all of the folders in the current directory. So I'm going to remove that part, and then the name of the GIF file will be just I'll just have this be anim wrought checkerboard. Yeah, this is funny. So, and because they are not BMP files, but they are PNG files, I need to change that part there. Now the delay of 5, it determines how much there is a delay between each frame. That's 5 milliseconds or something, which makes it fairly fast. So I can make it faster or slower, but that's a good speed. And loop 0 means that it repeats infinite number of times. Because if it was loop 5, it would repeat 5 times and then stop. But now I believe this command is right. So I'm going to go back to my command prompt or terminal, whatever you want to call it. Let's just do CLS. It's DOS style commands in here. Then I'm going to copy and paste that command in there. It's running that command. It's going to try to process all of those different PNG files into an animation. Let's hope it works after I spent probably an hour and a half at least on trying to make this animation. So let's see what we've got here. Oh, and by the way, if I type path, you can kind of see this. I actually have several different things. It's probably too small to read, but I have a very complicated path. So I have imagemagick and graphicsmagick both installed. So if I do GM, it does graphicsmagick, but if I do magic, it shows imagemagick. wait, did I do something? Magic. Yeah, invalid argument or not enough arguments. But yes, I have both ImageMagick and GraphicsMagick installed, and that I use them to turn my frames into animations and to convert single files between file formats. So now I have those. So we have a GIF file here, which is a little bit less than 4. Oh wow! Oh, it worked. It actually worked. My animation is here. I actually have my animation. Sure, it took me forever to create, but I have my animation. And I'll tell you what I am going to do with this. I am going to make extensive backups. I'm going to email this to some people I know as well as myself. I'm going to make backups of my Dropbox and OneDrive. Okay, that's just great. That is absolutely great. So, I guess that this is the end of this particular video. I hope somebody's learned something about Inkscape and computer graphics and animation by watching this. This was a lot of work, but also it was very fun to work on some art, and get my mind off of all of the depressing things in the world. So I'm very glad I spent my Sunday doing this. So let me know if you have any comments, questions, that sort of thing about something I could do. Do you have an art idea I could design and record a video on it? That would be fun.